Arise.
Hello, beautiful people. Good morning and welcome to yet another edition of the show Arise and Shine. Remember, it's that show where we engage you viewers in real time discussions on current events, lifestyle topics, and the societal issues. On the show, you get motivated, you get health tips, you get educated in our learning lab. Most of all, you get to know all that's trending online and on site. I am your host, Mayam Sibo. We'll be right back in a bit.
Arise. Arise.
Welcome back, beautiful people. Now, usually I will ask you, were you motivated by that spoken word ministration? What's the emotion you were wrapped in while on that? But today I brought you that voice, that person you've been seeing, motivating you, talking about the history of Bamenda, which inspires us never to give up. This year, none other but Mottanni. That's the name they know him for, but you will get to know his real original name right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, with your hearts lifted, with your hands shaking like, "Ooh, I want to fly," please welcome Mottanni.
Let me woo, like you just said, heart lifted, head lifted. Woo!
Like,
I'm happy to be on Abakwa TV.
yeah!
Yeah!
I must say, I'm starstruck, guys. I'm starstruck. I'm like, Papa, Mama, if you are watching me right now, I've made it in this life. I made it. I'm seated next to Mottanni,
What do you mean?
one of Bamenda's exceptional, stellar spoken word artists. Do you know how many awards this man seated here has gained? Do you know that when he passes on the streets of Bamenda, everyone is silent?
What that foolish thing. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Wow, Mottanni, I'm so excited to have you on the show Arise and Shine.
Thank you so much, Miriam. Thank you for having me today.
Yeah.
I'm very, very excited to be on Abakwa TV
Mm-hmm.
and to be able to talk and share with the people of Abakwa.
Yeah, it's such a good thing to have you.
Thank you.
And I'm very sure that our viewers are excited to see you and also to hear all about the spoken word. That's what you're very good at.
I'm very excited too to meet them. I'm very excited too to be able to talk with them. We rub shoulders, share ideas, share opinions and facts.
Yes, yes.
I'm so excited.
So I'm going to give you the opportunity to talk with them now.
Hey.
Tell them your name. Of course, you have to greet your people, say hello to some people, your name, what you do, what made you to engage in spoken word. Over to you.
Okay. My name is Tani Desmonawa. Stage name Mottanni, and Mottanni simply means speaking for Tani. Speaking for Tani. So I want to, at this moment, give a shout out to one of the people that believed and gave me platform when I started spoken word poetry in Bamenda. I want to shout out to Kumbo Jones Uhuru of Black Swagger Poetry Slam and La Liberté Arts Group. Those that he and his team were the first people to create such a platform in Bamenda where I could be able to give exposition to my craft. Then one other person too I have to shout out to is someone who believed in me before I even believed in myself. Someone who saw things in me that I could not see before time, and that is for Yembeka Leslie. Those are people that, as you say, sometimes you have to cling on to some other person's belief in you till your belief sets in. For Yembeka Leslie was that person who saw what I did not see. And he said, you can be better, you can do better, you can have better. So focus and build you. So those are the people that I am shouting out to today. And what was the other question? What
inspired you to get into poetry and spoken word?
What inspired me to get into poetry and
Yeah.
spoken word? My life was a beautiful thing, a beautiful adventure. I used to be in school, one of the top in class. I was always good in school, passing all my exams and everything. And to me, that was just life.
Okay.
To me, that was just life. Till I got to that point where I was the only person in the class that failed an exam.
Wow.
At one point in my life, I was that only person in a class of 77. Everybody made it, and I was the only person that failed a particular exam. It was devastating. Why? Because I had never experienced that before.
Okay.
And it became more devastating because I was the only one. You know, sometimes when you have a problem and you tell your neighbor has that same problem, you say, okay, it's like, oh man. Yeah. So it was really, really challenging for me. And at that point, it was, I was so down. And I started asking myself certain questions. Started asking myself certain questions. And I was asking myself, why me? Most times we always ask ourselves, why me? And I got to realize that before you ask yourself, why me, be ready to give a list of a person that you want that thing to happen to. So, so I asked myself, why me? Why did this happen to me? And one thing that popped up to my mind was, is this all about life? Is this all about life? There is more? Is there more to life than me just going to school, passing the exams, getting a job, get a wife, get children? Is there more to life, or this is all about it?
Okay.
So that was at that point in time when I was so down, and it got to a point where I was even afraid to walk on the streets. I wasn't afraid to even tell my parents that, okay, this is what has happened. And what helped me at that moment, the things that helped keep me strong at that moment, that helped me not to even lose it, we had to do with motivational talks. You had motivational talks. You had music. Yes, and you had poetry. Those were the three things that kept me going. Otherwise, when you hear people have committed suicide, it's because they got stuck in one corner of their lives and they feel like that's all about life. So motivational talks and even preachings from people like the TG Jakes, those were the things I was consuming at that time. Unfortunately for me, I had a friend who had CDs, of TG Jakes. You know, in those days, without online, it was challenging to get works of those people. But she had CDs, so she shared with me. And then good music was one of those things. And I think one of the guys whose music actually touched me at that time was this guy, Frank Edwards. He had great music, good music. Yeah. And other people, I have the Bonsais. I have a lot of people here in Bamenda whose music actually moved me at that time. So when I was gradually recovering from the trauma of failure, the question I asked myself is, okay, this is what has happened to you, and you got through it, not just by you, but others. The works of others has helped you go through it. So what do you do to make sure that if someone someday gets into the same thing, they'll be able to overcome. They'll be able to overcome. So the thing that got to me at that time was, it's not all about just consuming what others have done. It's time for you to give them something too that will help them in the future. So that's what got me into first motivational speaking. I had to get into motivational speaking because the Leslie Kevin Browns, the Zig Ziglars, most of them too were part of the things I consumed at that time. And it was the things that gave me hope. So I said to myself, okay, if someday Bamenda man or an Abakwa man has a challenge, is it possible for them to tune into any channel on TV or to tune into any channel on YouTube or on Facebook and get motivation from their own brother that will help them go through it? So that is what I decided to say, okay, I have to get into the same thing that saved me so that I can be able to save others, can be able to get others to be able to move ahead despite their trauma, despite their troubles. So I started with motivational speaking. And then at that point in time, motivational speaking had not gained grounds in Bamenda that much. What was there was Black Swagger Poetry Slam. of La Liberté Arts Group, and its organizer, his team lead, Akumbo Jones. So when Yembe forgot to me, because I used to write poetry a lot when I was in the university, and even when I was in secondary school, I think I wrote a lot of poetry, a lot of love poems.
Love poems.
A lot of love poems.
I'm very sure that you're going to give us one love poem today.
Well, let's keep our fingers crossed.
Yes, we are.
As we'll say, as the spirit leads. I wrote a lot of love poems when I was in school, and we used to exchange. We used to exchange poems, and with Yembe, Carl, and the others, we used to do a lot of poems at that time when I was in school. So what happened to me was that Yembe called me and said, there is one guy in town that is organizing poetry slam. There's one guy in town that is organizing poetry slam, and we need to bring out or share those poems that we used to write in the university. That's what Yembe called me, and that's how we started with the poetry slam. I think I started with poems of other people, poems from Khalil Gibran, poems from the Linus Tia songs, poems from Bole Butake. Most of those poems I started with them because I did not have the courage at the time to do my own poems in public. It was with time that actually we got to now get to a point where I could do my poems in public, I could perform my poems in public, and the crowd will receive them with so much happiness and so much, they welcome the poem, and they will also tell me how good it is, how they've learned from it, and how it inspired them. So that is what basically got me into poetry, and then we started doing poetry slam every month in Bamenda for close to 10 years. That's what we were doing, and this is me now as a spoken word poet, traveling the country and traveling the world.
I must say I am inspired by your story. And one thing I could grab from your experience is that you had what I would call a positive company, because in those moments of your distress, yes, your challenges, you had a friend who had these clips which you used, and they inspired you, they motivated you, the kind of people you listen to, the music you listen to. So,
very true.
Yeah, I'm sure that the people watching us now are grabbing this message that your company matters, your association matters. Well, Mottanni is still here. Have you told us how the spoken word and poetry evolved in Bamenda? You highlighted a few. So tell us how particularly it evolved in Bamenda, and tell us the role that it has been playing when it comes to culture, the culture of Bamenda and our community as well.
Yes, as I said before, spoken word poetry, it started with, there are other people who had been doing spoken word poetry in Bamenda before we started. There were other people who had been doing spoken word poetry when we started, and they had other platforms that they were using. But the platform that I was exposed to was Black Swagger Poetry Slam. When I got into Black Swagger Poetry Slam, it was, as I said, Akumbo Jones of La Liberté Arts Group. He started it. The population of Bamenda, they were used to, they were not used to spoken word poetry that much. The few that were used to, they were used to spoken word poetry from abroad. They could consume content from abroad. So the challenge now that we faced was how are we able to match up to abroad? Because most times when someone listens to Mottanni, they are tempted to compare those who were exposed to spoken word poetry. When they listen to Mottanni, they are tempted to compare Mottanni now with someone they've listened to abroad. So that was the challenge. So those who were used to spoken word poetry, who were exposed to spoken word poetry from abroad, their challenge was that we were not sounding like those abroad. So we are bastardizing the craft.
So there was a reception problem.
There was a reception problem. Meanwhile, those who were not used to spoken word poetry, but who got exposed first time spoken word poetry from us, were wowed. So you see the controversy. Yes, those who have been exposed to other poets abroad or in Nigeria or in America will say, no, you guys are not doing what is supposed. That's not what you're doing is not spoken word poetry. So then those who weren't, that was their first time, they'll say, wow,
This is amazing.
what craft is this? How do you do it?
Like, this is out of
So at one time our spirit is dampened by those who compare us to those abroad.
Yeah.
And another time it is overwhelmed. Our spirit is enlightened by those who are being exposed to it for the first time. So that's the challenge we faced in the beginning. So while we were down, we were discouraged by those who were abroad, and we were tempted to try to start sounding like those abroad. We were also encouraged by those who were on ground, exposed to spoken word for their first time, to be able to continue doing what we are doing, so that they can be able to understand us.
So the dilemma for you people was to pick.
Yes.
Or maybe
do we sound like abroad?
Yes.
Do we sound like abroad and get appreciated by those who have been exposed to spoken word from abroad? Or do we sound like us? And lose those who have been exposed from those abroad, or get risk condemnation for those who have been exposed by those abroad?
Right.
Or do we just be ourselves and be able to be appreciated by those who have been exposed to spoken word for the first time? The challenge now was those who were exposed to spoken word from abroad are those who were willing to pay for the shows.
Now we get it. Now we get it. Okay.
There were those who were willing to pay for the show, because then those who were not exposed to, most of them who even wanted to pay could not afford.
Yeah.
Could not afford. So these are the challenges we were facing when we were starting. And thanks to the endurance and the audacity of Akubo Jones of La Liberté Arts Group, he dared to create Black Swagger Poetry Slam. And made us be able to perform on it and let it be free for the entire population.
Okay.
So he will pay registration, he will rent a hall, rent speakers, get DJs and all that, and we come and perform, and all the audience come in for free.
Okay.
So he was spending the money to give us exposure to that craft. Okay. Now it is when I got into the craft, then I started asking myself, am I the only one in this, in Bamenda? Then I got to realize that people like Joyce Babatunde had been in spoken word poetry, had been doing spoken word poetry for a long while. Okay. Yes. Then he finally, at one point, he joined us at Black Swagger. And it was amazing, because when Joyce Babatunde joined us at Black Swagger, whenever she mounted the stage and performed, it was like magic to us. It was like we were watching something we had never seen before. We thought we were doing spoken word poetry till Joyce mounted the stage, and it got at one point where at Black Swagger Poetry Slam, we made sure that Joyce was always the last person to climb on that stage, because once she gets there, she raises the bar in a level that you feel so intimidated. I said, no, boy.
We get it.
There was one time he performed, and one spoken word poet called me and said, Mottanni, me, I never pass on that stage. You are no feet. See me, I climb on that stage, no feet.
Maybe you go lost point.
No. So it got to that point. That when I discovered that Joyce had been doing spoken word poetry, I also discovered that there is Decent Livingston that had also been doing spoken word poetry. Okay. A lot of people. Then after doing history, and I realized that even the people, Lapiro de Banga, those people were spoken word poets. Okay. If you listen to Lapiro's music, he was not singing, he was talking.
Nice.
Even the couples, those were people who were doing spoken word poetry. They didn't tell me it's spoken word poetry, but it was the craft.
It was.
So it's at one point that I realized that we are not actually inventing the wheel. We are just standing on the soldiers of giants of yesterday. Yeah. I got to realize that we are not first in this craft. We are not first to do it. I got to realize that there were people that had been doing the spoken word poetry in the form of storytelling. We had even Samson Vuga, Grandpa. Yeah. Grandpa had been doing it for ages. But they didn't tell me it's spoken word poetry. So when I got to realize that, okay, there were giants that were doing this thing in the yesteryears, I knew that, okay, the best way for me to be able to perform now is to be able to stand on their shoulders. Okay. Stand on their shoulders and then go higher than where they ended. Okay. Than where they ended. So the challenge we faced in Bamenda was just, as I told you, one side accepting, the other side refusing. But in the long run, they got to accept that, first of all, craft is what you say it is. Craft is what you say it is. It's not what people may think. Yeah. Those who started it, where did they learn from? Yes. And those who have their style, where did they get it from? Most times they just be themselves until it becomes a norm, it becomes a style.
Okay.
So those who were used to spoken word poetry from abroad, in the long run, they got to accept that this is spoken word poetry from Abakwa. It is not spoken word poetry from the US. It's not spoken word poetry from Nigeria. It is spoken word poetry from Bamenda. So
Okay.
let's accept it the way it is. And in the long run, even us, we kept improving,
Yeah.
kept improving with the craft. If I look at my first performances on spoken on Black Swagger Poetry Slam, and I look at what now, they are two different things. And thanks to the support that the population who used to be there, we used to fill the hall at Blue Pearl Hotel.
Okay.
Because Akumbo Jones born over, he had to bear all the cost. Then it was free. So that hall used to have more than 300 people for spoken word poetry. Then we used to melange it with local music, local performance from our artists. We used to have 300 people. So at one point, we realized that, okay, there are 300 people who come for the poetry, and sometimes people come mostly for the music and not the poetry. So we wanted to streamline our audience. So at one point, we had to put a gate fee. And when we put the gate fee, the number dropped drastically.
When it comes to money,
the number dropped drastically. Yeah. So the number dropped drastically when the fee came, because Jones was trying to see how can I? Okay, Jones was trying to see how can I be able to have my own audience and not just the crowd. So that's where we decided, because I was part of the organizing team, to put a gate fee, and the number dropped. Then gradually it started growing, and then till at one point the crisis came, the virus came. We had to keep struggling to re-strategize, move from one venue to another. And today I'm happy that spoken word poetry, you will hardly have an event in Bamenda, in Abakwa, that there isn't a spoken word poet doing a performance.
Okay.
It is like, if you don't have, the audience will ask you, okay, what happened? What happened? Most events in town,
that's progress.
You have spoken word poets. There must be one or two that are performing, be it in churches, be it at weddings, be it at burials, be it at government events, whichever. Because spoken word poetry is that form of art that can be able to craft a message to speak to any kind of event, any kind of audience.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So far so good from where you started. Tell me what you think makes you stand out, or makes spoken word poetry stands out now in Bamenda. And from there, you can just go straight to the mission of it right now in Bamenda. How far do people want to go? What are the effects or the results that you want to achieve moving forward?
Take it one question at a time.
One question at a time.
Yes.
Yes. What makes you stand out looking at yourself back then and now?
One thing that will makes me stand out as a spoken word poet is simple. At one point in my life, I was privileged to meet a coach, a life coach, Lanjo Sidono's name Defoe. He's a therapeutic theater specialist from the University of Bamenda. So he was that person that had to take time out and look at the craft that I was creating, look at my poems, look at my spoken word pieces, and be able to make input and be able to tell me that, okay, this is what you can do to make it better. This is what you can do to make it better. This is what you can do to make it better. He was also able to like tell me stage performance, teach me stage performance. Once you are on stage, when you do this, it means this. This is what you should do. This is what you should do. This is what you should do. This is how you should perform this kind of piece. This is how you should perform this kind of piece. So that is what refined me more, because I had somebody that if you do nonsense, coach will tell you, say, after you don't come back, say, according to you, don't go perform that performance well.
Yeah.
He was that person that does not know how to quote things. Once you do what is not good, once you do a piece, a poetry piece, and it doesn't go, coach will tell you that. Coach will tell you that gram. That's why you don't go do this on a banger. Nonsense. That you don't go do it today. So, though it will hurt me, but I'll have to improve and get better.
Okay.
So at one point, coach, he looked at where I plan to go, and he told me, I know you want to take poetry to the streets. You want spoken word poetry to be more accepted to the people, and it should be a norm, just like Pidgin News is to Bamenda. So coach told me that one of the things we have to do is to do the poetry in the local man's language.
Yeah.
Do the poetry in the local man's language. Let's do poetry in pidgin, because that is a language that everybody understands.
Yeah.
At first, it was really challenging for me, because the irony we are facing is that we go to school where we are refused from speaking our language, the pidgin language. Then at one point in time, we see that the pidgin language is what will sell us to the world, and we start struggling to go back to it. And sometimes we are shy to stand and speak pidgin wherever we want to speak.
True.
And you cannot speak this English better than the Englishman.
Of course.
You cannot. Whatever English you speak, whatever terms, whatever languages you use, to them it is normal. So the only thing you will make you stand out will be your own indigenous language. True. If you can, Coach was telling me, if you can do the poetry in pidgin, or do the both pidgin English and even the dialect, that will make it different. So that is what we are trying to do nowadays. And with any other poets I'm working with, any other points we are working together, challenge is, if you can do poetry in your dialect, don't hesitate. If you can do poetry in the pidgin, don't hesitate. If you can mix the three, the better. If you can do it in English, French, and mix 4 languages, fine. That is what is going to make you stand out. And I think the first poem I wrote in pidgin, I wrote it in English, and then I gave it to Coach to translate it to pidgin. Yeah. And when he translated it in pidgin, I had to take the English version and put them side by side to understand, because Coach, he knows the raw pidgin.
True.
So there was certain things I was reading in the pidgin that I did not even understand. I had to take the English and say, okay, what was I saying here in this poem? And I was looking at them. But the challenge is, when I performed that poem in pidgin, the applause I got and the feedback I got from the audience was different.
True.
It was different.
True.
And they said, they are grammar you never all time, so at least you don't talk for our language.
Okay, that's interesting. Well, thank you very much, Mottanni. So let's talk about the mission of spoken word poetry now in Bamenda. What's your mission, and how can the community, the society of Bamenda, help promote this craft?
The mission of spoken word poetry, as I one thing is, first of all, take it to the streets. And what are you taking to the streets? We have a lot of people that have been misled with art.
Yeah.
They've been misled with art because of what they consume, what they watch. Imagine at my moment of distress, and I was not opportune to be exposed to positive arts. Then I would have either gotten into drugs, or cigarette, or promiscuity, or alcohol. I would have gotten into any of them if I was not exposed to positive arts. Arts that talk about positivity, arts that help to bring out the best within you. So the mission of spoken word poetry, first of all, we know that it is art that has destroyed our community, whether we like it or not. Art is the highest thing that has destroyed our community. What the kids watch, what we watched while we were growing, those are the things that we are trying to imitate when we are old. If you look at the crisis, we used to watch the Rambos, we used to watch the Commandos. And in the crisis, what do you hear? Rambos and Commandos and people being shot. We were watching it as entertainment, but it was entertaining us.
Okay, break it down again.
We were watching it as entertainment, but it was entertaining us. And training us for things that we don't even know, for situations that we didn't even know will come. When you look at the crisis in Bamenda and all the lives that have been lost and all the properties that have been destroyed, you will realize that most of those who have been victims or even perpetrators came from art that they watched. We watched houses being burnt. We watched cars being burnt in movies. And nowadays, we are doing the same thing in the name of rage, but we are just replicating what we watched when we were young.
We get it.
So that is the challenge. Art is what has been used to change the society, to push the society towards a particular direction. So they used to say in one of the movies we watched when we were young that only a ninja can destroy a ninja. So we are using the same art to see how we can reform. The purpose of the spoken word poetry is to use that same spoken word poetry to see how we can reform the community. First of all, reform myself, reform me as a person. Because one of the reasons I got into spoken word poetry is because it was an outlet for me to express my pain, express my impressions, express my pain, express myself, express my rage. Rather than picking up a cigarette, I prefer to write the pain I'm facing.
Okay.
So spoken word poetry was one of those things.
Okay.
So we are using it to be able to reform that community.
Thank you very much, Mottanni. It's been a wonderful moment with you.
Thank you.
I did not mention how good you look. And why are you barefooted? Like, is it something? Does it inspire you? We're rounding up with you already. So
Okay.
I'll get back to this of yours. I want to bring you onto our topic of discussion. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you have been inspired, motivated, and you've had your moment with our spoken word artist, Mottanni. Yes, we want to bring him in this topic of discussion that a lot of you have been sending in messages already, and we'll be taking them as the show writes on. Mottanni, you heard about this message, right? What should parents do if they find out their daughter is pregnant? What's the immediate thing you advise that they do?
Immediately,
Yeah.
they find out their daughter is pregnant.
Yes.
Well, first thing they do now, now give belly.
Good.
Yes, now the first thing that
Yes.
I said now. In fact, before they even you doesn't now give belly, they don't sound you like 3 times.
Yes.
Pa pa pa, come here, now give belly.
Yes.
But has that been productive? Sometimes the generation is becoming very, very stubborn. Sometimes when you use that force, they don't even answer.
Yes.
Or they just run away. Or they decide to move on to other options.
Yeah.
And people have lost their lives because of that. Parents too have also found themselves being struck with high blood pressure or something because of that same kind of situations.
Okay.
So I feel like the first thing in every situation, I always say the first thing to do when you discover anything happens is to breathe.
Breathe.
First thing, power, you don't say you're picking the belly, first of all, breathe. Because if you don't breathe, you'll die, and you'll die, that people was there alive.
True.
First things first.
Okay.
Breathe. Breathe.
Okay.
Breathe as much as you can, as long as you can, before you speak, before you can put them down.
Okay.
And find out who is responsible. Because one thing our parents always look at and they ask who is responsible is because they know that comes with a lot of financial demands and it's unfortunate that we don't think about the psychological trauma at first. But parents know that psychological trauma will come when you're not able to meet the financial demands.
Okay.
So that's why they always ask who is responsible. Is that person able to cater for you first?
Yeah.
And the baby that is on the way. So I think that's the first thing they call you. When they breathe, they call you, you sit down, they ask you, okay, who is responsible? Once they know who is responsible, the next thing they are finding out is that person being able to take care of that child. Because most times our parents, the beautiful thing about our parents nowadays is they have learned to shoulder the disgrace, because they call it disgrace because it's an abomination for your child to be pregnant in the house. But these are things that are happening.
Yeah.
Once it has happened, once it don't happen, it don't happen. The thing now to do is way forward, and that way forward is to put that child down and ask who is responsible, and ask how they think they are going to be able to go through that process with or without that person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I believe we've had enough of Mottanni. Yes, I don't want you people to exploit everything that is in him. We want to have him on the show over and over again, right? So we're going to leave it here today. Ladies and gentlemen, Mottanni has been on today's edition of the show. But before he leaves, he's a spoken word artist. And 2 minutes for you to take your leave. You promised us a love poem. Can you do that in 1 to 2 minutes?
Wonderful thing.
Even if you cannot just say
I'll have to be looking at you in the eyes to do a love poem. Honestly,
I don't mind.
Your job smart into my home asking.
How? How is that? Why are you mixing me up? Yes.
All right. There is this poetry piece. We are working on now. Poetry album. It's called Flakes, and it's about celebration poems. I think I will do. Let me do vows.
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 Okay.
Vows is for those who are About to get married.
Hmm.
Wedding vows, actually.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
can do that in 1 to 2 minutes.
Yes, I'll just try to run. I'll rush over it. Although
Okay.
they don't rush over love.
Of course. So we are ready. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready to be wowed by the vow. Okay.
Hmm. I love you. From the very first day my eyes behold you. I know they say love at first sight doesn't exist. I know that saying I will get over you once our bodies touch and our paths meet, interlocking in the paradise of pleasure, but I love you. With or without our bodies touching or our paths meeting, I'm just happy I found you. I love you. I know they say the lady in red will come to distract, and the one better endowed will come to obstruct. The vibes flowing within our hearts, but when they do, don't be bothered, for I won't be gone for long, for I belong to you. For even in this life and the next, I remain grateful for every mistake I made, every heartbreak I encountered, for each and every one of them got me one step closer to you, and for that, I'm thankful. I love you. There isn't much in this life I know as true, but these I know as true and as transcended space and time, and as time passes, the intensity increases and verifies the fact that I need you. So, as you listen to my voice, as I regurgitate these soothing words, and you reflect on my past or future experiences tell you otherwise, I pray you can go past your expectations and listen to my heart, for it knows and tells no lies. I just want to place before you something true, something real, something to give you the feeling of ecstasy, for I know you deserve better than all the other guys before me could offer, so I won't even try to beat their record. I will just offer you the entire me. My time, my attention, my life. You fit take my dough like bonus.
Wow. Can we end it there?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. I want to take your dough as bonus. You came here with a plan. Gosh, I'm not gonna fall in love.
No. You have to. You have to. So let me go home, and I'm happy that somebody is thinking about me. I can sleep
Come
well.
Wow, like gosh, the other people behind the scenes, I could hear them. Oh wow, like I hope. Anyways, what I want to say, let nobody catch feelings. So these spoken word artists, they'll come and do their thing and they will go. You be the one now sleeping and holding your pillow in the night. Be careful.
No, the spoil market.
I will spoil
I warn you.
Wow, thank you very. I mean, gosh, trust me. If I wasn't that strong, I'll be dripping.
No, but once again, that's just a piece in the celebration album.
Okay.
And also, we are having a national tour that is going on. So we are visiting other towns in Cameroon and doing poetry show. And the show in Bamenda will be coming up on the 9th of November, 2025 at Alliance Française. So we'll be having a poetry show there. So Bamenda, my Abakwa people.
Show up.
9th of November 2025 will be at Alliance Française.
Yeah.
If you've ever loved poetry, or if you want to taste poetry for the first time, come to that place. But on the 27th of this month, September, we will be in Banjul. And on the 15th, we'll be in Gaundere.
Nice.
To do more shows.
Nice. So thank you very much for coming on the show, Arise and Shine. Let them know your social media handle.
You can check Mottanni on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, any of them. Just type Mottanni.
Okay.
Mottanni. Mottanni. MOTTANI. Check Mottanni, or simply check the Mottanni website, www.mottanni.com.
Oh.
If you go to www.mottanni.com, you can get anything about poetry, anything about the craft.
Okay.
You can be able to get it.
Wrapping up, thank you very much for coming on the show. Kindly do a shout out. Tell them to keep watching Arise and Shine only on Abakwa television.
Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, if you want poetry for your birthday or you want poetry for your occasion, then call me. Yes, you better even make a lot of sense for the very show. So call me on 699-444-555.
Okay.
699-444-555. If you want poetry for your events, birthdays, just get to Mottanni and we're able to chalk something out. We're able to craft something. And ladies and gentlemen,
keep watching Arise and Shine exclusively on Abakwa television.
Abakwa people, keep watching Arise and Shine exclusively on Abakwa television.
That's it. Thank you, Mottanni. Until next time, keep looking this good and Keep doing what you know how to do best.
Thank you, Miriam. I'm happy to be here.
All right.
It was a pleasure.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye. Your time is up. Beautiful viewers of the show Arise and Shine. I'm very sure and very particular that you have been blessed, inspired, and motivated by Mottanni on today's edition of the show. Remember, the show is still on. We still have guests who are here to share a lot. Now, let's talk health. What do we have for you on our health tips? You find out, and we'll be right back in just a minute.